If you spend half a minute on social media, you could be led to believe easily that fat gain in menopause is normal and fat loss in menopause is hard and requires extremes. If you want to invest a few minutes here with me today for free, I'm going to do the best I can to convince you otherwise on both counts. You might also be here, and it's not that you've gained weight in menopause, but you already were carrying some extra pounds, and now just a few more have made it too unbearable. And you're not feeling like yourself, and you don't like the look of your future. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top struggles and concerns. Most of all, we hope to inspire you. I share what to eat, how to move, and how to change your mindset so you can have the energy and the vitality that you want, need, and love and deserve in this second and better half. All month long, if you're listening live, February 2022, I am talking about fat and fat loss. So if those themes ring true for you, you want to know a little bit more about the secret life of fat, about how you can actually lose it easier than you might think, at least unless you're a lover of extreme exercise. So if I hold you back from that, that's not easy for you. I totally get that. You want to stick around. We're going to have a lot of lives. We're going to have a lot of blogs, a lot of podcasts, and a master class on it. And we also have a special for you. So pay attention. We'll have some things in the show notes that you absolutely are going to want to learn more about and stay close. This one is all about fat loss and menopause, and that's where the show notes will be. Let's dive in. First, before we just start talking fat loss in menopause, and by the way, it's not what you think. It's not what you were told when you were 20 or 25 or 30 or 35 or even 40 potentially. We first have to talk about removing the hormone roadblocks for fat loss in menopause. The truth is you can't go through a roadblock. There's no shoulder on the right. There's construction on the left. You know what happens? That's what's happening with cortisol, with insulin, and several other hormones working against you. So let me give you an overview of them. This will feel like Hormones 101, and that is okay. Then let me give you the fix for each one. If you want it all handed to you, not just tell me the science behind it, but I'm going to share a link to the Flipping 50 Fit You program. Right now, just this month, if you register, you get 50% off, but you also get access to my Metabolism Makeover course. When it was done live, it was a value of $699. You get the Do-It-Yourself course. You can have it, access to it on your own time. It's not ever going away. And it'll be right there for you. Think of that as a little bit more education. The program itself is action. I'm going to talk about the hormones here one by one and what they do now, how they help or hurt your fat loss in menopause. So buckle your seatbelts, lace your shoes, pick up your weights, whatever it might be, but let's do this. Cortisol is always at the top. What it does, cortisol is your energy hormone and it's adrenaline during those times of stress. It's the fight or flight we learned about. Like you suddenly have to have superhuman strength to get through a day or lift a car off of somebody, and hopefully never, ever does that happen to you, but you get the idea. It is that burst of energy, but it's also your mind tells your body you're under a certain amount of stress. Your body reacts in a way that you could get through that superhuman strength, even if it's just you have 27 things to do and you're thinking, oh my gosh, all this weight is on your shoulders. You've got to get it done. You got to get it done right. You have to go here and here and here. The way you're thinking or I'm thinking about something provides the reaction that our body has. That is a good takeaway, by the way. Meditation may be your best friend this year. All right. What does energy and adrenaline do positively? We do need it for energy. So your cortisol is up in the morning. But that kind of negative energy also increases blood sugar levels, your overall stress. If we have that level of output for too long, like during a pandemic when we've got this extra layer of stuff on us and not just life itself, lack of sleep, inflammation, emotions, poor gut health, overtraining exercise, over or under eating, lack of micronutrient density, those things are stress as well, not just the emotional, financial. Pandemic, I can't see my parents, I can't watch my kids get married, I can't see my grandchild, all the stuff we've gone through, roller coasters of, that probably heightens things. It doesn't help any of us. Lifestyle habits that help your cortisol levels, we need some. We don't want it to go away. Otherwise, we'd have no energy in the morning. Hopefully, that's not you as you're listening. Move more, exercise less, and get enough sleep. Lifestyle habits that hurt, skipping meals, skimping meals, even fasting, two extremes may not be ideal for you. Now, I know I've got a lot of friends. We've had them on who love the fasting lifestyle. It's helped them tremendously lose weight, but you've got to remember you don't have their microbiome. You don't have their current makeup. You've got to take a look at what are you, where are you, what's true for you psychologically, mentally, emotionally, as well as physically. So there's a lot of things to be had. And there are ways to intermittent fast that aren't necessarily skipping breakfast. And that may not be the best thing for women who are in our Flipping 50 community. I do advocate starting to fast in some level. There's a long continuum that you would use. Many episodes on that. I'm not going to go deep into it. Let's talk about the next hormone, insulin. Now, if insulin teams up on cortisol or with it, those two are belly fat bullies. You've heard me say that. What it does, it reduces your blood sugars by removing glucose from your bloodstream after surges of it. And by the way, not eating can cause a surge of blood sugar. Just want you to know that. So I'm wearing a continuous blood glucose monitor right now, and we will put in the show notes if you want to try it. It would be a perfect complement with any fat loss or exercise program that you're doing if you're trying to lose weight. And if especially it's stubborn, you're like, I'm doing all the things, not seeing all the benefits. It may be one last puzzle piece. And what I'm finding is the way I've been starting my morning, my body right now is not liking anymore. Yeah. So you know how we get about having my coffee, having my matcha. This is the way I do mornings. I'm going to have to look closely at that in order to make some changes. And I think probably if I changed it right away, I could probably lose 5 pounds. And easily. And I'm not necessarily on a weight loss mission. I'm on just optimizing my fat levels and increasing muscle, making sure I have plenty of energy, plenty of brain space, and I'm not wasting it thinking about weight loss and fat loss. That's a waste of time, right? And energy. But here that thing gone wrong, right? We need insulin to come in, help us remove the blood sugar where it's not safe for us, and store it in muscles. You better have some. So first of all, the more muscle you have, the more strength training you do, the more lean muscle you carry, you have easier insulin sweeping that glucose into your muscle where it's there for energy and storage. You don't have any muscle, we got a problem. You don't have that going on. It's not working for you. So lifestyle habits and time of life that make you more insulin resistant. Menopause just does that because of the change of your hormones. Too little exercise, the wrong foods at the wrong time, too much exercise might be problematic as well. Lifestyle habits that help. Walk after your meals or move in another way if walking is not the possibility. Increase your protein, decrease your processed carbs, or eliminate, please, completely if you could. Even the same level of healthy carbs that used to work for you may not work right now. Women become more carb sensitive or what we call insulin resistant. Those are almost synonymous in menopause because the decrease in estrogen just sets off it's a catalyst for other negative changes. So got to look. And I'm not saying keto. not for good, maybe for a short period of time, but rotating it in and out of your schedule also could be helpful. Cycling it in parts of your day or parts of your week, but probably not permanently. Women need carbohydrates. We need them for energy if you're a more active person. And we have a better mood if we've got serotonin, which is produced when we eat carbohydrates. Next hormone is ghrelin. What it does, it's called the hunger hormone, tells you need more food. More like this, you need more food. Go check the break room. Look at the counter. There's some brownies there. Yeah, I think you want them. That's what ghrelin does, not your best friend. Evil twin. Lifestyle habits that cause it to increase. Generally, lack of sleep. When your cortisol gets off, the day after you've been sleep deprived, your ghrelin probably is going to also be up. Have you noticed that? Like you could eat and you're like incessant, like you're never satisfied. The hunger keeps coming. Well, part of that is not just ghrelin. So lifestyle habits that help, by the way, are getting more sleep, managing your stress level. Leptin is kind of the teaming up with ghrelin. This is a bad combination. It tells you you're full. So if it's not working, it's not telling you you're full. So you get hungry signals. Oh, yeah, go try the chips. Oh, bag of popcorn be really good here. And then leptin is just like letting you eat to the bottom of the bag and then go get another one. Or, oh, now that I've had the salt, I'm going to go get the, what are they? Thin Mints? What are those little candies? You know what I mean. The sweet and sour thing. You dump them into your popcorn at the movie. I'm reminiscing. All right. Lifestyle habits that cause leptin to be problematic. Again, disrupted sleep is one. Sometimes that simply gets thrown off because you've got everything else going wrong. Cortisol's off. Your insulin levels are off. Gone through menopause. Leptin can be an issue. 99.9% of people who have a leptin issue, that is it. They're not getting that I'm full signal. There's that other small percent that have early satiety. So I'm not going to address it right now, but if you have it, I would love it if you'd put a comment below the show notes today. Let me know, because I've worked with a client for a long time who has early satiety. She's able to eat less than she actually needs. If you're eating constantly less than you need, your metabolism is less than you need. And that's what happens. Your body will say, oh, you're feeding me less. I'm going to go slower. It's like your car. Not going to go very far without fuel. Growth hormone, pay attention to this one. What it does, it is an anabolic hormone, and that is a word meaning it helps you build, helps you repair muscle. So more of it is what it attracts and supports you to do, especially if you're lifting the weights, you're doing the things, you're not running yourself into the ground with endurance exercise thinking, oh, that burns fat. No. Lean muscle tissue on your body is metabolically active tissue. It's the only tissue in your body that is. You need more of that as you age. Otherwise, the traditionally true, what we thought just happened with aging is that we slow our metabolism down, we lose our muscle mass. Well, yes, if you're not doing something about it. But you're going to lift weights. You've got to eat protein. You got to eat some carbohydrates at some point for muscle as well. So there's a time when you're building, and there's also a time when you can focus on leaning up if you want to for an event, but that is not a kind of a lifestyle you can sustain. Think about what bodybuilders do. It's a harsh kind of an approach to weight. When people say you can shred here and you can do the 14-day or the 5-day shred, that means you can get ready for a date on Saturday night and you can look a little sleeker, shedding water weight. But if you tried to sustain that, you would damage your hormones long term. It's not going to be a method very sustainable or very healthy for a woman who's going through otherwise hormone changes that may already wreak havoc with adrenal fatigue. So why is growth hormone a problem? Production slows and reduces with age. And it's also going to be problematic with insomnia because you release growth hormone during your deep cycles of sleep. So if you're struggling with insomnia, that should be your first focus. The exercise you choose should be focused on how will that help me sleep better? and you switch it. So exercise is not your key priority. Burning calories or eating fewer calories is not your priority. Sleep, making every decision possible so you can sleep, will help you lose weight if you change nothing else in many cases. Studies to show on postmenopausal women, studies to show long sleepers lose more weight, more of it is fat instead of muscle. Okay. You produce less of it as you age. Don't forget that. You've got to build strength using strength training, reaching muscular fatigue. Some adults might also consider asking their physician about taking growth hormone if they're doing everything else. I'm a huge believer you have to be making these lifestyle changes first. If you're not there, maybe you need a boost. And you should ask, what are pros? What are cons of me taking it? Could we take it? Could we watch my body comp? So don't go get it. Don't go start changing something or changing a routine if you're not getting on a smart scale that tells you your body composition. By the way, that is not BMI. Plenty of podcasts breaking that down. What is the difference? Testosterone is another. What it does, it is also an anabolic hormone. So we need that as well as growth hormone. Why it's a problem? Because all the sex hormones are reduced during menopause in our transition there, both true both for men and for women. And although we start with less testosterone than men have in the first place, I mean, it's relative. We're reducing what we had as optimal levels we no longer have. Similarly with them, they all have an easier time of gaining lean muscle, and they always have, or of losing weight. You'll find that true. And they can go into the weight room and make some huge strides with increasing or enhancing their testosterone levels. We can make some, and we need to be doing it. But we also have to avoid the things that lifestyle habits here that hurt, like not sleeping, too much alcohol, too much sugar, which is, alcohol basically. And low protein diets will hurt you. Lifestyle habits that help your testosterone, strength training, interval training, decrease stress, and protein. And when we talk about protein, we're talking about high quality, meaning the essential amino acid profile quality is high. And so I'm going to offend potentially someone who's vegan or vegetarian, doesn't like or doesn't want meat for one reason or another. The quality of protein that you're taking in means you've got to eat just mounds and mounds of food in order to reach it. And I know you'll come across 100 or millions of articles that will say these are high protein foods. What isn't there is, what are you defining high protein as? You need your body weight in pounds, in grams of protein per day to maintain where you are right now. If you want to lose weight, not less, sister. You need more protein than that, because studies have shown, and again, plenty of them with post and menopausal women, that you add to that so that when you're losing weight, you've reduced your caloric intake somewhat, you don't lose lean muscle. Because if you're losing weight and a large percent of that is lean muscle, when you regain weight, generally does happen because you've slowed your metabolism. At a healthier weight, your metabolism is less than when you were at fat, right? Or higher weight. And if you lost muscle, you've lost the metabolically active activity. So it's slowed even more. And you can't continue to eat less and less and less and maintain and do more and more exercise, because we throw off all of these other hormones we're talking about. There is a better way, and the old way is not the way. So we want to look at lifestyle habits that help. Strength training, spending the time you do exercise, doing short strength training, but effective, might be 45 minutes or an hour by the time you add a warm up that's adequate and a cool down that's adequate in the sets you need so that you can reach muscular fatigue. But twice a week is all you're talking about. And then some interval training, and that might be a total of 40 minutes a week where you're doing 20 minutes after you've built your way up to it, and then decreasing your stress levels, increasing your protein. Those things help testosterone. All right. So once you've addressed the habits that affect the hormones that affect fat loss and menopause, right? So it is thinking back to what are the lifestyle habits that kill this hormone? What are the lifestyle habits that support this hormone? When you've addressed those habits to address the hormones, because I know a lot of women will say, should I get my hormones tested? My answer to that is, what are you going to do with the results? Are you wanting to do hormone replacement? Because that is a reason that you would measure, where is it? If you don't feel good, you're not gaining muscle, you're not sleeping, we already pretty much have a pretty good picture of what's happening with your hormones. But if you're, yes, I want to look into medication. If it's a thyroid issue, I want to look at some thyroid support. But I think first you want to look at, are you doing the lifestyle habits? Do you need to see on paper what the result of your hormone habits or on your screen? Boy, that was old school, right? Do you need to see it in black and white, what the results of your current habits are before you'll make a change? Because it will come back to lifestyle habits still need to be there. You can't take a pill, a cream, put on a patch if that's your deal, or get a shot and say, make me better, and expect that you don't have to change what you're doing. I think each of us will have some things that you'll say, no, I'm still going to have 2 cups of coffee in the morning, even if it's a little disruptive for me. That is my thing. Like, everybody's got to have a vice. That's mine, and stay back. Or every once in a while, I'm going to go for a long run or a long bike ride, even though I know that might spew my cortisol a little bit. I really still love it. You may be willing to say, okay, I'm going to bargain and I'm going to offset everything else I can do, but that can't go. Totally think you should guard that, because I think there's a joy factor in there. Enjoyment, and there's pleasure. But you also, if you learn, you get the data from what it is you're doing, whether it's like me, you're wearing a continuous blood glucose monitor, figuring out what eating does, what not eating does, what exercise does. I've gotten some feedback about when and how I'm doing interval training, and when and how I'm doing my strength training, and what effect that has on my blood sugar. And I'll share with you. So when I follow the rules for Flipping 50, things work very well. And when I let my day be a runaway train wreck and I doesn't work very well. So hearing those, seeing that in real time actually is quite helpful. Okay. Then, if you've addressed those habits that change the hormones, that change your menopause, sounds like the house that Jack built, then you begin adding volume appropriately to the exercise you're doing. Volume of weight training is something that's been in the science recently for women over 40. We do need volume, but what you will hear is only that from a lot of fitness professionals. What you're not understanding is, what is volume? That doesn't mean every day of the week I lift for an hour. That is too much. You're throwing yourself, your body, your hormones under the bus. And total body workouts get 8 times the results. The rest and the recovery, by the way, are underestimated in their value. It is the most underused concept in fitness. In 38 years, that's been true. We've all been more. We got away with it when we were in our 20s and 30s. But I have to tell you, if I look back, I was tired between workouts. I was sore between workouts. And, yes, I loved it and I also got energy from it. But I think a big part of that was probably ego. Like, I thought that was who I was an active person. I was a fitness person. I was a runner. And I liked the association with that. And maybe some of you can identify. And, when I really think about it, I probably spend a lot of time doing the thing, recovering from the thing, preparing for the thing, and missed some things that, I don't know, there was a huge payoff. There was no Olympic gold, but there was also no, huge monetary reward. Yes, I enjoyed it, but, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes when you're feeling that way all the time and always constantly thinking about, what it is that you're going to do or prepare to do. Or it's an interesting saga, the way many of us now have to take that in and consider, I've got to change or reframe who I am or the way I think about myself. If that was you, Many of you might be listening and saying, I don't know, I have never had that problem, right? I didn't identify as an active person or an exerciser. And that is okay too. It may be for you, the shift has to be, I am somebody who exercises regularly, and you want to acquire that. Maybe it's not that you're quote unquote an athlete. It's simply that I am somebody who takes care of herself. I do that because I'm also role modeling it. I'm a better, you name all the roles you have in life. If you're an employer, you're a better employer. You're a better boss. If you're an employee, you're better at it. You're more productive. You are more valued. If you are a mom, you're a sister, you're a brother, you're a parent, you're a dog owner, you're better at all of the things, all the roles that you have because of exercise. And that may be where you want to get to. I'm somebody who takes care of herself. But let's go back in here. So when we're talking volume, doesn't mean super long sessions. It doesn't mean more frequently or every day. It means a volume of stress to a particular muscle group. Say it's a muscle or it's a system in your body. That means, say, interval training, you're stressing the cardiovascular system for short periods of time with intent, with purpose, very specific goal, short periods of time. Or strength training, you're doing a certain amount of sets, not necessarily repetitions. It could be repetitions for a muscle group within a workout. And that just might mean, there are some sets now that you're doing 35 repetitions, and that's the only set you're doing of that muscle group all day. So you want to reach muscular fatigue and you want to make every one of those repetitions count. It's not about doing 3 or 4 sets, although sometimes that's a different way to add volume. So we've got to look at what do you need and how do we not throw you under the bus for fatigue afterward. When you start weight loss with a mentality of the 80s, it doesn't feel good. It can feel good for a few minutes because, I've got a plan. But then the reality is it's usually deprivation. It's like, I'll start tomorrow or Monday. It's not just flipping things that you want to remove for the things that you can have instead. Usually, a diet is just going hungry and it's eating something else when it's Taco Tuesday and everybody else is enjoying the fiesta. That is not the case in Flipping 50s Fit You, by the way, and I'm going to link to that in the show notes. The show notes are going to be at flipping50.com/fat loss and menopause. What is happening if you're not losing weight or you've gained it and can't figure out why? It's data. If you treat your body right, you use signs that you can't lose weight or you're gaining as data, things get easier. You learn to know if you can't sleep, there are exercise and food choices that can help you sleep. And then your exercise and food choices improve because we don't have the wonky hormones like cortisol, ghrelin, and leptin the next day after sleep deprivation. It's all about balancing your hormones, not your calorie in-out count. Women in midlife are more susceptible to the negative effects of stress. You're probably used to hearing me say that. You could have finished that sentence for me if you've been here for a minute. And the weight gain and belly fat that come with increased insulin resistance when cortisol is also present, it's what your body does is deposit it right in the belly. And that visceral belly fat is risky. So we want to look at what is your waist measurement because women who have 35 inches or more are more susceptible, more at risk for heart health issues. That is something to look at and get down. But often still in 2022, when I say we've got to look at, how to reduce that belly fat, women still reach for core exercise. And honey, that is not the way to get there. Core exercise does not burn fat or reduce your waistline girth. You need potentially a little core exercise to make you stronger so that you can do the things that will support reductions in weight, reductions in fat, and specifically visceral belly fat. And there are some activities that have been proven to help reduce visceral belly fat best. And we snuck them all into Fit You, by the way. you may want to try the continuous glucose monitor that I'm using. It's definitely listen for details on how I'm learning. I am going to be sharing that social media post, the good, the bad, and the ugly, people. Oh, yeah, it's going to kill me. But one of the things that I love to do first thing in the morning probably can't be my first thing in the morning thing anymore. So I'm going to go for the next day or two so that I've got a good full set of Monday through Friday, 5 days in a row of what my typical habit is. And every day I get up and I look at that and I hope my results are different. But so far, that's not been true. And then next week, I'm going to start shifting and doing something else and see if that helps. And then I will share that detail and data with you. And we're all different. So just because something spikes my blood sugar doesn't mean that it will yours. So I'm going to put my link for the a continuous glucose monitor that I'm using in the show notes. You can get my link from the show notes and you'll save $25 off your first month. And just so that you know, I do make a small commission off that. You're going to pay less, and yet I will have a little win. I have to disclose that. But I will be right in there with you as you share how it's going, and want to welcome you. If you're doing Fit You, it was a great tool, a great partner to pair with your Fit You experience as you do the low impact, easy on joints, but high intensity intervals. And as you do the strength training and make the modifications in your diet, you will see what is happening. You will experience it. And you may decide, like me, I'm doing a full month and then I probably won't continue because I will know the modifications I need to make. And that for me is data that is priceless. Now, I may say, okay, a year from now, I'm going to look again, but I am expecting that if I make the changes that I learn, I will easily, those wiggle pounds that you gain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's going to go by the wayside because I've got a healthy lifestyle. I sleep so well. Everybody's got those occasional nights. And I lift. I do walk the talk that I ask you to do, or I lift the lift. Is that a term? I guess it is now. And so when you kind of solve those last remaining puzzle pieces, if you're feeling like I've always eaten well or I eat healthy, we have to dig and unpack that a little bit. It may not be the best for you. The resources that I mentioned in this episode, of course, the Fit You, the glucose monitor. If you want to jump right to that, you can go to flipping50.com/glucose. You get a coach from there that is a dietitian that can help you as you're entering foods, looking at your response to them, and they're actually emailing you or talking to you through the app on your phone. Helpful. And I will also be there for you. So we can do a little messaging inside the Fit You group every week. I'm in there live and we answer questions every day on those. So there you have it. Just a little 411 on fat loss and menopause. It's not what you think. And so the reasons many women are frustrated is that they're kind of leaning back into ways that they lost weight, gained weight in the 70s, 80s, maybe even got away with it in the 90s. And now your body has changed. You're a different set of hormones than you were then. What is true isn't going to work. Science has progressed. We know a little bit more. We know a little bit better. It's not a miserable experience working on fat loss and menopause. It can be more pleasant, and it's got positive, not negative side effects. Unlike if you keep this train going down the track and you have weight you don't want to carry with you into the next decade of life, there are also negative ramifications that come with it. Your risk goes up. Your ability to do the things you love goes down. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. That's a lot of content. So in the show notes, we elaborate. It's practically a blog post. So if you like to read, you will find a lot of those things right there put out pretty much handed to you. Not every single detail is there, but you will have some timestamps as well. So what are you waiting for? Let's start flipping 50 today.